Rays bats have begun to catch fire in the dog days of summer, averaging 5.9 runs per game over their last 9 contests. Tonight, the Rays hope that trend continues as the red-hot New York Mets arrive at the Trop, boasting one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. Just as the Rays bats get hot, they're going to face great pitching. We welcome you to Tropicana Field. Tonight, the Rays are home opening the series against the New York Mets. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an evening of Rays baseball. With Brian Anderson, I'm Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. An interleague homestand, first the Mets and then the Braves. But first, this New York Mets ball club, BA. Red hot, great pitching, swinging the bats a little better, and the Rays, led by Evan Longoria, swinging the bats much better.
This New York Met ball club obviously invigorated by some deadline deals that were made that bring over NYN Cespedes, and he immediately starts to get it going offensively for this New York Met ball club. Their last 6 games are averaging just under 6 runs a game. They have laid waste to the Washington Nationals and the Miami Marlins, outscoring them 35-13, and there are a lot of different guys chipping in. On the pitching side, they have been absolutely dominant during this 6-game winning streak. The starters' ERA 1.44, and their bullpen has only been scored upon in 1 of the 6 ball games. Like you were talking about with Evan Longoria, I don't know who ticked him off, but he has got the angry swing going once again. Look what he did on that road trip. 12 out of 26, 4 extra base hits. He got a home run, dead center field, so you're starting to see that swing come back into play. Right there it was, a ball up and out over the plate. I'm going to tell you something. He has been getting it done for the Rays offensively even longer than this. You go back over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, so hopefully he can keep that going against a very good pitching staff.
And if you love pitching, you'll love this series. 3 games between the Rays and the Mets. Marquee pitching matchups across the board. A big one here tonight. And Todd Callis will take a closer look at this matchup when we return.
day starts tonight for the New York Mets. Good crowd gathering here at Tropicana Field, many of them supporting the orange and blue of the New York Mets. The Mets used to train here in St. Petersburg in spring training years ago. Bartolo Colon will go Sunday in the finale of the series, but tonight it's DeGrom. Tomorrow, Noah Syndergaard, who won Player of the Week last week along with his teammate Lucas Duda. Two young, hard-throwing right-handers. That's the job of Derek Shelton and his offense to figure these guys out. And here's the Rays hitting coach on facing these two young guns.
It's a little bit of an unknown for us because of the fact we haven't seen him. I think Grady's the only guy that has seen DeGrom tonight, and Syndergaard being young. So their power. I mean, it's almost like guys that throw at the back end of bullpens because of their velo, but they're able to maintain it. And two are probably the better young pitchers in the National League. So I think we just kind of gauge off it. We got to make sure we stay aggressive and we swing the bats because they're going to come after us.
Rays have been hot offensively, averaging over 6 runs a game on that road trip, but they will face one of the game's best. DeGrom is only behind one pitcher, Zach Greinke, in ERA in the National League. 3 minutes and 10 seconds till the first pitch. DeGrom against Jake Odorizzi. Enjoy all the action next.
Tonight at Tropicana Field, Jake Odorizzi walks to the mound to face the hottest team in the major leagues right now with their current 6-game winning streak. They have won 9 of their last 11, and they moved into first place in the National League East, a game and a half up. For your Southern Ford dealers, the starting lineup for New York: Curtis Granderson will lead off. The DH tonight is Daniel Murphy. Yoenis Cespedes, acquired from the Tigers, giving this offense a lift, hitting third. Lucas Duda is the first baseman. Juan Uribe, veteran, joining this team via trade, is at third. Marco Conforto, a young left fielder, hits sixth. Travis Bernard is the catcher. Kelly Johnson is second, and Wilner Flores, the shortstop, bats ninth.
Well, for Jake Odorizzi, he's making his 18th start of the season, his 6th since coming off the disabled list. He's got a 2-1 record in that time span, and you expect him tonight against this New York Met team that really does not have a whole lot of at-bats against him to be moving the ball consistently throughout this game.
And the first pitch of this game is a strike call presented by Pitch-A-Penny, underway right on time tonight with a strike from Jake Odorizzi. Tapper foul, quickly ahead in the count.
Well, this is one of those hitters. Curtis Granderson, always known as a streaky hitter, and right now he's on one of those hot streaks to get that average up to 260. Does have the 17 bombs.
And a roller to the right side. Forsythe between first and second throws him out. One away.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Rays defense and see how it's going to line up. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Grady Sizemore, Kelly Leak, and Daniel Nava. Across the infield third to first, Evan Longoria, Asdrubal Cabrera, Logan Forsythe, and James Loney with Kurt Casale behind the plate.
Daniel Murphy in there as the designated hitter. His average at 275. The pitch is a ball. Foul out of play. 1-1.
Just had a quick shot at Kelly Leak out there in center field.
Well, he could cover the ground like Kelly Leak, that's for sure.
Take anything you can get.
Great range. He'll catch and throw. Two balls and a strike. This one chopped to the right side, and Forsythe will handle this one. 2 up and 2 down.
Well, when you start to think about an aggressive offense that's been scoring a lot of runs lately, we documented the fact that 35 runs scored in their last 6 games, swinging the bats a lot better. And Jake Odorizzi, here's the fastball, show it to him, and then go right to that split change, and he's gotten 2 easy ground balls.
And now it's Yoenis Cespedes. He's hitting .318 with New York after a .293 average with the Tigers. And a first pitch strike. And 18 home runs over in the American League for Detroit. It's a ball and a strike.
He's another one of the hitters in this lineup that's been getting it done over the course of this winning streak that they're on. Boy, what a big boost for the middle of this lineup. A lineup that really, for the most part of the season, really struggled to score runs.
It's 1-2. They're still last in the National League in hitting at .238, 14th in runs scored. So Terry Collins, in his 5th year as the manager of this New York Mets ball club, happy to have Cespedes in the middle of this lineup. Still a ball, 2 strikes.
Well, I think that when the New York Mets looked at their ball club coming down to the trading deadline, the starting pitching, the pitching in general had been so good that they needed to find a way to upgrade this right here.
Got 3.69 runs per game. Cespedes out on strikes. 1, 2, 3, go the Mets. Rays coming in to hit. Southern Ford dealers. Braves will have John Jaso, the DH, followed by Grady Sizemore and Evan Longoria, James Loney, Logan Forsythe, and Asdrubal Cabrera down the middle. Daniel Nava's in there hitting 7th in right field. That is Kevin Kiermaier in the 8th spot in center, and Kurt Casale, the catcher, bats 9th. First pitch from DeGrom is upstairs. His first pitch of the night in at 96.
Well, that earned run average right there, good enough for second in the National League at 2.09.
High pop foul. That ball's headed toward the New York bullpen. It will fall in front of the bullpen, out of the reach of Conforto.
And Jacob deGrom, one of the hottest pitchers in all of baseball. You go back to the middle of May, and his ERA is under 1.5. He can be dominant with the fastball, good slider, changeup, and he doesn't walk many hitters.
Two and one. And another foul ball back off the fastball. So it's 2-2. Tim Timmons working the plate, and we've seen him be reluctant to give that strike up and away. Appears that Jaso has broken his bat. That pitch up and away to a left-handed hitter, not often called a strike with Timmons behind the plate.
You know, and that's interesting because that previous fastball, not the one that Jaso fouled off, obviously, but the pitch before that looked pretty good. And it was at that top of the strike zone away from the left-handed hitter. Did not get the call.
Now the count is full. Jaso in his 26th game this year. Full count to Jaso. And the fastball again at 96 is fouled back.
Well, Jacob deGrom trying to really establish that fastball early, and we've seen him already 95 to 97, 6 straight heaters.
High fly ball, center field. Cespedes to his right, one away.
Now let's take a look at the Mets defense, see how it's going to line up. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Michael Conforto, Yoenis Cespedes, and Curtis Granderson. Across that infield, third to first, Juan Uribe, Wilmer Flores, Kelly Johnson, and Lucas Duda, with Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate.
Grady Sizemore starting against deGrom. Sizemore in left field, hitting second, and he takes the pitch down and in. Breaking ball.
And I think that pitch right there, because Grady Sizemore has obviously seen him before, trying to get some of those secondary pitches into play.
It's 1-1. deGrom, last year's Rookie of the Year. Last time the Mets had a Rookie of the Year before last year was 1984, when it was Dwight Gooden. And deGrom taking that honor last year. He didn't come up until the middle of May last year and went on to make 22 starts, was 9-6 with a 2.69 ERA. Two balls, two strikes.
And if you've got his kind of velocity, why not? That fastball leading the way. Slider, changeup, occasional curve.
So he's gone to 3-2 on the first two hitters now.
Having a little bit of trouble with that arm side command. You can see how much late movement, late life he has on that pitch, having trouble keeping it on the plate.
And that is strike three. Fastball on the inner part.
Well, he made a nice adjustment. Having trouble keeping the ball on the plate away, so he makes a little subtle adjustment, and that ball right there in the middle portion of the plate and down, and Grady Sizemore just locked up.
Well, here's Evan Longoria coming off the hot road trip. Evan was 7 of 14 in the series against the White Sox. Ahead of the count on the slider away. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, and we've seen him starting to turn that swing loose, more aggressive.
1-1.
Been able to piece together some extra base hits.
The general feel that this club offensively has become more aggressive, and that was discussed a week or so ago, and it would appear that it is paying some dividends.
Well, Dwayne, I think that that's something that we noticed up here in the booth, and a lot of it, Kurt Casale was kind of a tip-off when he was hitting all his home runs. He said, we've been trying to be up there grinding out at bats, and now we're just turning it loose and being more aggressive. And guess what? It's translated into more runs.
There's a liner into center field, and that's going to fall in front of Cespedes. So Longoria comes up with a 2-out single, lining it right back into center.
DeGrom is going to try to get Evan Longoria here with a fastball that's elevated out over the plate, and he doesn't quite get it up enough. You can see where Darno wanted it. That ball ends up down just a little bit below the belt, and Evan all over it, rope to center.
So Evan now with a 7-game hitting streak. And now James Loney. It's a foul ball. Loney now at 265. Well, can you blame him? You see all of that 96, and you see the changeup. A little bit of a difference.
A big difference, because you know that you've got to get it started early because of the heater, and yet that changeup, 10-mile-an-hour difference with great arm action.
Well, 1-2. DeGrom, 27 years old, out of DeLand, went to school at Stetson.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they go back to that same pitch, because they were once again asking for the fastball up, out over the plate, elevated. Not going to do it.
Well, he's consistently at that 95, 96, 97.
Not a bad place to live.
Not when you can come back with a changeup that's 86. And Loney makes contact, fouling that changeup back.
Yeah, that was actually very impressive by James Loney, because that changeup, another good one at 85, and he does enough to foul it off. A lesser hitter swings right through that pitch, and this inning's over.
Tapper by the mound. Flores at short will make the throw to first. Ray's going to hit, leave a man, no score through 1. Toyota. Let's go places. And by Morgan Auto Group. Make it Morgan. We make it happen. At Tropicana Field tonight, on to the second inning. First game of this series with the New York Mets in town. Mets in over the weekend. Monday's a day off, and then the Atlanta Braves come in. So we'll see a lot of National League action here. The Rays are back for this handful of games in interleague play. Lucas Duda takes the pitch away. 1 ball, no strikes. The GMC big matchup. Duda in his last 11 games, 9 home runs, hitting .359.
You keep going down this lineup and you keep talking about a hot hitter. Turn things around offensively.
High shot back into right. Nava has range, and that ball is out, number 1. Boy, it had some trajectory off the bat, and it died out there.
He mishit it. It was a split change up at 86 miles an hour. If this pitch is 88, 89, it's a home run. But just out in front, just off the end of the bat, everything looked good, except you miss the barrel, and you're right, it will die.
One away. Juan Uribe takes a big cut back, fouls it. Uribe, 36 years old. The Mets picking him up for what turns out to be a stretch drive now for New York. They've put together a 6-game winning streak. They've taken over first place in the National League East.
Well, they did that work going to play the Nationals right at the deadline. They swept them, and now we're up a game and a half. And Atlanta, that team that the Rays will see next Tuesday.
Ground ball to short. Cabrera handles that. Uribe is out, number 2. Well, the Mets have not had a winning season since the year the Rays went to the World Series in 2008. The Mets were 89 and 73 that year. And the last time they've been in the postseason was 2006, when Willie Randolph was their manager, and they won 97 games. Terry Collins now has rallied this team into first place in the National League East.
Well, and what makes this team so scary is if they're able to hold on to that lead and get into the playoffs, especially into a series, with the top 3 arms that they can run out there in Harvey, Syndergaard, and DeGrom. You talk about being able to dominate pitching-wise. I mean, this is the last 6 games, they outscored the opposition 35-13, and 6 of the 13 runs were scored in the last inning of the last game against the Marlins. So up to that point, they'd given up 7 runs in 6 games, led by that starting rotation.
Their offense has been an issue, better lately, and so the pitching has really carried this team. And they're doing it without David Wright with the hamstring injury, back issues. And a cut and a miss on the fastball. Michael Conforto is out on strikes. Second strikeout for Odorizzi. No score through an inning and a half.
Heard Dwayne talk about how DeGrom won Rookie of the Year last year. First time the Mets had a Rookie of the Year since this guy did it, 1984. Doc Gooden, great to talk to you, Doc. Local resident, you're back here in town. It doesn't seem like 31 years ago since you were Rookie of the Year.
It's amazing. I tell you, the time goes fast, and like you said, DeGrom winning Rookie of the Year. It was great to see another Met finally get that done. Well, a great pitcher they have, and a great pitcher they have coming up. I'm sure you'll hopefully get more in the future, but it's always good to come back home and watch a good ball game.
I know you follow the Mets. You follow your hometown team, the Rays. The Mets in their young arms for you, that must be exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm a little biased off the pitcher, but it's good to see that now, and they added a couple of bats, so it's a lot of excitement going on now at Citi Field. I think it's great for the fans as well.
What did you like about DeGrom? He just comes out and seems like he is able to maintain that velocity.
Well, it's amazing. He comes out, he has an idea what he's doing. He's very competitive. I like his mound presence. We don't know if he has his best stuff or not. He's very composed, very controlled what he's doing. He don't get too rattled with men on base. He misses his pitches up real well. And a lot of you said they got a lot of mound presence, even though I know he didn't start off as a pitcher, but you wouldn't know that. And to come back from Rookie of the Year the next year, with normally it's your sophomore jinx, but he haven't missed a beat from where he took off last year.
You're right about that. Sophomore season has been equally as successful. Dwight Gooden joining us. He was down signing autographs before tonight's game here, and you'll be here tomorrow night, right, for Tropicana Field? You'll be signing autographs again?
They'll be signing autographs again. It's always good to see the local fans and a lot of fans from New York, a lot of fans that live in New York and I live down here. And it's good to be home. A lot of guys I went to school with, a lot of guys I played against in high school to come out, have a good time. So hopefully I'll see a lot of guys tomorrow.
I was looking at your numbers a minute ago from 1984. You were 19 years old, right, in your rookie year, 218 innings. And your last 8 starts, not only did you not slow down, you went either 8 innings or a complete game shutout in every start. How did you do that as a 19-year-old? Because now everybody is not, innings limits, pitch limits. You went out there and dealt the whole year.
Yes, it was fun. David Johnson, after the second half of my rookie year, he kind of said, okay, kid, you're on your own. And I think, me personally, and just my opinion, I think it slows down the pitchers now, the ability to, and their progress to get it going with the pitch count, inning limits, slows down the development. And I know it's a difference of throwing 100 pitches in 3 innings opposed to 100 pitches in 8 innings. So I like now a lot of stuff is numbers punching on computers. I said let these kids go. As long as they feel good and feel healthy, because arm injuries, we all know there's no way you can avoid that really. They could be doing the off-season working out, spring training. So if the guy's healthy, he's pitching well, let him go.
I know you pitched the right era, because you would be limited, and it would probably be frustrating for you to pitch right about now.
Oh, it would be very frustrating, and I wouldn't be happy so with the manager coming out there in the 6th, 7th inning and take the ball away.
All right, Doc. Hey, good to see you. It's always great to have you around in town, and we appreciate the time.
Thank you. It's always good to talk to you.
All right. Guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. Good to see Doc Gooden there. It was a different era, and he really carried the load for the New York Mets in those days.
Can you imagine going out 5 1/3, 5 2/3? There'd have been a brawl.
No, it would not have been good.
No. Boy, especially when Todd bringing up the stat that he did. Last 8 starts of a rookie year when you're 19 years old, and your shortest outing was 8 innings.
Yep. And I like Davey Johnson's message to him. Son, second half you're on your own.
He had seen enough. I don't have to coach him. I just need to make sure that his name goes in the lineup. He hits 9th, and he goes out and deals.
You know, their biggest concern then when he came up, and the Mets were very protective of him in regard to the press, there was limited access, tightly controlled by the Mets at the time. And Cabrera is out on strikes. A big cut on the off-speed pitch. 3-2 changeup.
Yeah, it's so enticing. And obviously this ball's going to end up off the plate. You see the grip and the finish. That ball, that late action taking it off the outer edge. But you've got to get everything started a little bit quicker than normal. And Cabrera comes up empty.
Well, here's Daniel Nava. The Rays picking him up after the Red Sox let him go. Nava starting in right field. And the first pitch is a strike.
And I got to tell you, all the years of seeing him in that Boston Red Sox uniform, this looks odd.
Doesn't it?
It does.
Yep. He was behind here on the first 2 pitches, down 0-2. Mikey Matuk goes to Durham, and Nava claimed off waivers from the Red Sox. Nava has switch hit. Better from the left side. There's a shot toward right center field, and it is caught by Granderson. Started to sink on Granderson out there, and he made the catch, retiring the Rays. 1-2-3. Backhanded grab by Granderson. No score. To Tropicana Field tomorrow night. See the Rays battle it out with the Mets and pick up a Rays fedora while you're at it. For tickets and more info, call 888-FAN-RAYS or pay a visit to RaysBaseball.com. Stylish look. That fedora. That's tomorrow night. We go to the third. No score. Travis Denard leads it off. And he fouls it back. Strike one. Renault is hitting .276. 17 runs batted in 23 games. The Rays had him played perfectly. Forsythe made the catch and then looked back at Tom Woodring, the umpire back there, says, "Hey, I caught it. Did you see it?" Woodring took a little peek in and said, "Yep, you did."
Got to make sure. That ball down there close to the ground, and you're right, they had Logan Forsythe. I mean, he took maybe a half a step to his right to make that play. This ball dropping quickly, and you can see borderline snow cone there on the catch.
Renault out of there, and here's Kelly Johnson. 1 ball, no strikes. Johnson going to the Mets from Atlanta. Jay Odorizzi delivers the 2-0 pitch. Jake, in the 5 starts, this being the 6th he has made since coming off the DL, has 3 decisions, 2 wins and a loss. Picks up a strike. And through those first 5 starts, an ERA of 4, which is skewed a bit by the outing he had against the Blue Jays in Toronto when he gave up 6 and 4 1/3.
And if you go back to that start, Dwayne, remember that was the start where he was cutter heavy early. Tons of cutters, couldn't keep him on the plate. I think he walked 5 hitters in that game. Just was not a normal Odorizzi game, and since then he's really...
One hit to short left, going to fall in front of Sizemore. And there's a base hit. First hit of the game for New York.
I was going to say was he's really cut back on that cutter, going more with that fastball, changeup, occasional curveball, occasional cutter, and the success has been much better.
So Kelly Johnson is aboard, and here's Wilner Flores, the shortstop. There's a strike on the outside corner. And 11 home runs for Flores out of the 9th spot in this lineup. One and one. Ground ball, that's going to go through the hole. Sizemore with a pickup in left. Johnson stops at second, 2 on, 1 out.
Well, Wilmer Flores, not your typical 9-hole hitter with his production this year. This is going to be a changeup, and he follows it right down, drops the head of the bat right on it, and hits that ball hard enough, gets it in the hole, and the Mets with back-to-back singles.
So back to the top of the New York order, Curtis Granderson. Granderson grounded to second his first time. Fastball is upstairs.
Well, they were able to take advantage of Granderson in his first at bat with the changeup. After showing him the fastball, they went to the changeup, got that ground ball. You'd love to get another one right here.
Rizzi behind him, 2-0.
Well, this might not be a bad count to go with another changeup, because you know Granderson is going to sell out for the heater.
And there is ball 3, the change.
And you know, you can understand why Odorizzi did that. That was a good opportunity, except he tried to be too nasty with it. You know, he's thrown a number of good changeups here in the early going, but that one he really tried to jump on and ended up spiking it into the dirt.
Swinging 3-0 and lifts a fly ball to deep left on the track. Sizemore, and now a tag at second. Johnson heads to third. Trailing into second is Flores. So the Mets advance the runners on the fly ball to left.
Well, Grady Sizemore doesn't throw as well as he once did, and that ball lifted high enough and deep enough that the Mets base runners are going to take a chance there, and they go ahead and move up 90 feet each.
So they move up for Daniel Murphy, the designated hitter for New York. Murphy chopped to second his first time. Pitch is low.
Daniel Murphy, he tries to stay inside the baseball, a line drive guy, good contact guy. And he's got some room to work with over there on the left side, because as Drupal Cabrera shading up the middle, he's about in line with where Wilmer Flores is on his lead.
Murphy, typically a very aggressive hitter up there, and he fouls this one back. He took that first pitch, and that's sometimes surprising, especially with men in scoring position for him. The Mets have a lot of aggressive hitters in this lineup, and he's one of the more aggressive of them all.
And you know what? For being an aggressive lineup, they strike out a good amount middle of the pack.
Ball 2, 2-1. Cespedes on deck. Key hitter for Odorizzi, Daniel Murphy.
Got to make a good pitch here. 2-1 count. You know he's looking to swing now.
And he takes ball 3. So very patient to this point, especially for Murphy. And it's 3-1.
And this is where you're already in a bad count. You got an open base at first. Not that you want to walk anybody here, but this, when you have a really good changeup, this is the count. You got a lot of confidence in that pitch. This is the count to use it, because he will swing at it.
And he takes a strike. How about that?
That's it. Hey.
3-2 now.
I mean, he thinks it's a ball off the plate, and that has been here in the early part of the game. But Jake does go with the changeup. He thinks it's off. He may be right, but the Rays get the call.
High fly ball. That's Kiermaier in center waiting for it. The Mets lead 2. We're headed into the bottom of the 3rd. Still no score.
Express had a special group in tow tonight as they picked up a group of 40 members of the MacDill Air Force Base, and led by Colonel Dan Tully. Colonel, what a great night this is for you and the young men and women behind us. Tell us a little bit about the night, and it all started with a little bus ride over the bridge, huh?
That's right, it sure did, Todd. So we were gracious, we were blessed to have the Rays organization offer to pick us up over at MacDill Air Force Base. This started out, I was trying to get some feedback from our airmen about life on the installation, what it's like for some of our youngest folks who are serving every day, and what we can help them with. So the Rays took us under their wing, so to speak, brought us out here. They've treated us like royalty, you know, it's just blown us away. Between the box here, throwing out the first pitch, a meeting earlier to get some feedback from these airmen, it's just been an amazing night.
So the Rays bring you guys over on the Fan Express bus. Here's a foul ball that's just on top of the Mets dugout. We'll talk about the honor pass in a second, but first I want to talk to you about the first pitch of the game. Tell us about your ceremonial throw.
So I didn't know what to expect. I was told it's about a 60-foot throw, and at all costs, don't drop the ball. Don't have it hit before it hit home plate. So my wife and I took the golden retriever out, gave it a few practice throws last night, and everything seemed to be in good working order. And by the grace of God, I got that ball across home plate, so it worked out for me.
Very nicely done, thrown to Steve Geltz there. For you and other members of the military, both current and retired, and those that were honorably discharged, what does the honor pass mean, your ability to come out here and watch a little Rays baseball?
So there's lots of different things that different towns do around the country. The Honor Pass is really just symbolic of how much this community cares for the men and women at MacDill Air Force Base. To be able to come out here, bring one of your loved ones with you, attend a game at no cost, virtually at a moment's notice, it really sends a signal that the Rays organization and this community care about the men and women in uniform. Can't thank them enough.
That's RaysBaseball.com/Honor Pass. You guys, ladies, enjoying this evening so far?
Sure.
Well, listen, it's a great situation to have MacDill so close. We feel honored to be a part of you guys being there for us. And Kurt Casale's hit by a pitch. Colonel Tully, thank you for your service and for all these young men and women's service, and thank you for being a part of our Rays family here tonight.
It's our honor. Thank you very much for having us.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. They are the greatest men and women, and that's what Rays Up is all about. Right now, the Rays are concerned about Kurt Casale hit by that pitch. We can see it there. Now let's take a listen.
You know, and with that arm side run of Jacob deGrom, there was nothing that Casale could do. That ball was tracking him, running up and in, and he just could not get out of the way, especially when you consider not only that run, but the velocity of which it's thrown. And are they calling a swing on that? And maybe strike one.
How about that?
But they may. You know, it kind of looked like he started to go around, but that ball hit him so quick. Everybody's concerned about Kurt Casale and his arm, but they're going to call this a swing.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah, that's not good.
Not at all. Not at all.
You've got to be kidding. To call that a swing?
Well, that call was absolutely zooed.
That's terrible. Honestly, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm surprised that they are keeping it in control right now, because not only does your starting catcher get drilled in the forearm, but then they call a swing on that. You've got a great view from the dugout. You know he didn't swing. I mean, he started that movement as if he started going towards home plate. This is nowhere near a swing. Oh, I mean, you want to lose your mind.
I can't believe that there's not at least a forceful discussion about that. Yeah, Jim Hickey knows.
He's reenacting.
Yeah, and he's right.
He is right.
I mean, he's absolutely spot on. That's just bad. That's all. Now he lifts it into center field. And it's going to be caught by Cespedes, and back to first goes Kiermaier. I mean, that number one, it was never a swing, and had it been a swing, it was induced by being hit by a pitch. He was hit and not in control of the bat, and he's going to be fortunate if there's nothing more serious than a big bruise after being hit by that pitch. Wow. Here's John Jaso. Pitch is outside. Two balls, no strikes. Chase Hill worked the count full his first time. Hit a fly ball to center. Ground ball sharply hit. Johnson floors one. First base two. Well, that takes care of that inning. It appeared that they could have something going. A big 0. Braves Day or night brought to you by Ram. Submit this best vintage photo of yourself by using the hashtag #FlashbackRays. We'll select the best photo and feature it in the postgame show. Yoenis Cespedes will open the 4th inning. Pitch ran right away from him there.
Little slider. Very rarely see that from Jake Odorizzi. More that cutter to the righties, but he takes a little bit off there, gets a little bit more tilt, and it becomes an 83-mile-an-hour slider.
1-1. Cespedes hitting third, and Terry Collins lined up. Lucas Duda is next, and then Juan Uribe. Cespedes going to the Mets from the Tigers. A couple of younger pitching prospects after hitting 18 home runs. Sends a fly ball into right. Nava back starting to feel for the wall, but he's got a little more room and makes the catch.
And tell me that you did see the tweet from Jerry Seinfeld when they
I did. Yeah. Well, I didn't see the actual tweet, but I read about it.
You saw the transcript?
Yes.
Cespedes for the rest of us?
Yes.
I mean, how brilliant is that?
Well, the concept was brilliant to begin with, and then you just apply it whenever it's appropriate, and never more appropriate than the acquisition of Cespedes.
And I think at some point that you and I, in celebration, need to partake in the feats of strength up here in the booth. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll perhaps save that for the closed circuit version. Add that to some of the pregame meanderings that goes on. 1 strike the count to Duda. 0-2 He has 21 home runs. He's tied for 8th now in the National League Home Run Derby.
Well, had a good swing. His first at bat was a little bit out in front, but very close to launching one earlier in this game.
Oh, he takes strike 3 there. Fastball, and he's headed back to the dugout.
Boy, what a sequence of pitches there by Odorizzi, finishing him off with the fastball in and then heading out away. Boy, just back and forth, and Duda just not able to pull that trigger. You see right over the first pitch. So he goes away, in, right back out away, and that's the result. And Duda knew it.
And there's a nice pitch to Uribe to start him.
He has been very good with fastball location, especially early in counts, and that's really put him into a good place.
Into center field, cutting across. Kiermaier makes the catch. A 1-2-3 fourth. No score. And a wrap on that left forearm after being hit by a pitch from Jacob deGrom. We're trying to sort this out. There's the pitch that hit him, and you can see the plate umpire, Tim Timmons, says take your base. So somewhere along the line, it had to be Tim Welke who said that there was a swing. And for the life of me, I don't know what Welke could have been looking at, because there was no swing there. And I'm really surprised that the Rays were not more adamant and upset over that call.
I'm in complete agreement. First of all, you're going out there to check on your starting catcher to see if his arm's broke. Number one. Number two, then they tell you, oh, by the way, he's going back to the box because it's strike one. I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, oh, here's a shot off the bat of Sizemore. Back to the wall and gone! Grady Sizemore gets the Rays on the board. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay. Sizemore's 4th home run of the year.
And what a great job. Look at changeup, stays back, body's a little bit out in front, but he kept the hands back, and that gives you a chance. And then he just puts barrel to baseball and about 4 or 5 rows deep.
You know, the interesting thing about that is Evan Longoria steps in now following this home run. And the pitch is a fastball up. Here's deGrom facing the Rays lineup. This lineup's been productive recently, talking about being more aggressive. And deGrom with his wonderful arm at 95, 96, 97. Slider, change, curve to go with it. And we've seen a lot of the changeup here in the early part of this game.
Yeah, and I think that is trying to play into a lineup that is trying to be more aggressive. And so it'll be interesting to see if the Rays, kind of like they did against Chris Sale. Chris Sale had a lot of success in the middle part of that game with the breaking ball and the changeup. But the Rays never got off Sale's fastball, and they were able to eventually chase him out of that game. Now, Sizemore got the home run off the changeup. That was just a great job of hitting by Grady Sizemore. But we'll see if you just continue to hunt that heater. Because you're right, there's been a lot of off speed, more than that breakout that we saw earlier in the game.
This one popped toward the line and right. Granderson there waiting. So one away here at the bottom of the fourth inning. Let's check in with Rich Hollenberg for more on this young pitching staff.
Thanks, Dwayne. We'll continue with the old home week theme featuring the New York Mets from 1986. Mets broadcaster Ron Darling, part of that staff that Doc Wooden was on, so who better to ask about this staff than him? Darling was telling me earlier that he thinks that the variety that these pitchers bring in terms of Harvey, Syndergaard, DeGrom, who we're seeing tonight, they're all different types of pitchers, which keeps the opposing batters on their toes. As far as DeGrom goes, as we see his first pitch here that's fouled off to Loney, he said DeGrom is unflappable beyond his years, really, really a mature pitcher, and his stuff obviously speaks for himself. He said it reminds his pitching style of Jared Weaver when he first came up, and it also reminds him of a familiar face to Rays fans, David Price. And guys, interestingly enough, the last time Ron Darling was in this building at the Trop, Game 7 of the ALCS back in 2008.
Well, we're looking at a premier young right-hander here, Jacob DeGrom. I think he pretty much established that at the All-Star game. And last year's Rookie of the Year in the National League. Back of first, foul. So the count on Loney is a ball and 2 strikes.
James Loney, another hitter that a pitcher's going to work on both sides of the plate. He's seen a number of fastballs in here and the breaking ball, and expect that changeup here, down and away. They're going to go in again.
This one's looped down the left field side. That's a fair ball, and will get past Conforto, giving Loney the opportunity for 2 bases, and he'll stop right there on a double.
That's precisely the reason why a hitter like James Loney, you just can't stay on one side of the plate. It's been a lot of pitches in. James Loney making that adjustment. He gets another pitch in. This one, he doesn't try to pull it, stays inside of it, and is able to find some open room down that left field line. I'll tell you what, too, Conforto, you wonder if he comes up with that, pops to his feet, he could have kept Loney maybe to just a single.
Scoring opportunity for the Rays with Logan Forsythe taking the first pitch. Mid-90s fastball for a strike. Rays with a run on the home run by Sizemore. 4 hits now for the Rays off DeGrom. And a strike again. 0-2. DeGrom doesn't walk anybody, doesn't give up many hits. In fact, he's averaging under 1 base runner per inning.
Then don't wonder why this guy's got the 2nd best ERA in the National League. Just he limits opportunities. Period.
Let's foul back. See another 0-2 pitch.
You keep the baseball in the yard. He wasn't able to do that with Sizemore, but just 10 home runs given up. You don't walk anybody. You don't give up base runners. Tough to score against DeGrom. But the Rays have another chance here, and these are the type of opportunities you got to cash in on.
And Forsythe out on strikes. Out in front, and the pitch, the changeup disappeared on him.
And this is something you typically don't see from Logan Forsythe, really going far out of the zone But where that becomes enticing is DeGrom leaves that pitch right out over the middle of the plate, and you're looking to protect, and you swing.
You know, the other thing they say about DeGrom is that his release comes later than the average pitcher. That's pretty technical.
Well, he's tall, he's lanky, he's got that lower three-quarter arm angle. He's not like up on top, and he really drives towards home plate, so that ball is just kind of whipping out there with the arm angle that he has. You see right there, just kind of low, and the ball it really explodes right out of the hand, and so it gets on you like right now. And that's why guys have to start it early.
Strike to count to Asdrubal Cabrera. Take a look at those numbers since the middle of May. Nothing. He's not giving up a thing.
No. Biggs, look at that. Look at the whip. The walks and hits per innings pitched. .70. I mean, that's absurd. The only guy with a better ERA in that time frame is Clayton Kershaw.
And with that, his whip for the year is 0.89. Just a little over 1 last year. Cabrera stays alive. They go off the breaking ball.
That's kind of what, Rich was talking to Ron Darling about unflappable. He's unflappable. He's mature beyond his years in his poise on the mound, but mature beyond his years in the type of polished pitcher that he is. Second year in the big leagues and doesn't walk anybody, moves the ball around the zone, limits base runners. Very polished.
Cabrera is out on strikes. So the Rays settled for the run on the home run by Sizemore. Came on an 0-1 change, and at the end of 4, the Rays lead 1-0. For live baseball at bat up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, StatCast, and even more at MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. 1-0 Rays lead as this game progresses into the 5th. Michael Conforto leads it off. That pitch is a strike, says Tim Timmons. Conforto got behind 1 and 2 in the second inning. Odorizzi got him to chase a fastball up. 0-2. 1-2 strikes. Conforto out of Oregon State, 22 years old. He's put together some good numbers at the collegiate level and in the minor leagues. Out front, pops it into shallow center. Kiermaier is there. One away.
Catcher, Travis d'Arnaud.
Travis d'Arnaud, the catcher, will be up here. First game of the series. Rays and the Mets tomorrow night. Nathan Carnes against Noah Syndergaard. And then Chris Archer pitches on Sunday against Bartolo Colon. 1-0. You talk about some good young pitching. And then Sunday, the match between the youthful Chris Archer and the veteran Bartolo Colon, whose career has been completely resuscitated.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And the type of pitcher that Bartolo is now, nothing like when he broke into the game. He was more of the Syndergaard, DeGrom, just overpowering with the heater. And now he's like a sinker ball specialist, and he'll just move that pitch in and out on these hitters, get good sink, a lot of ground balls.
So it could be a fun weekend of baseball, and we've had a good one so far tonight. There's a strike taken by the Mets catcher, 3-1. It's going to be full with a foul ball. Rays are 7-5 in their interleague play this year. We've had only 2 interleague games at Tropicana Field. They're 1-1. And there is strike 3 call. Arnaud with a parting word for Tim Timmons, but he's out number 2.
Yeah, and he shouldn't. This is a great pitch here by Odorizzi. Fastball, nothing wrong with that pitch at all. That's not even a borderline pitch. And that's, again, a well-located fastball by Jake Odorizzi. He's done that all night long.
Willie Johnson. There's a breaking ball that catches the zone.
Now he's just showing off.
And he continues to show off.
He wants some of this.
I'll tell you, there's nothing better than a pitcher who has command of that curveball for a first pitch strike.
Easy 0-1 count.
Up there, 1-2 strikes.
And it all starts with early in the game establishing the fastball. So now hitters are like, okay, he's been good with this fastball. Oh, okay, first pitch hook, I'll take that. I'm down 0-1. And then, I mean, that was
How
abuse.
about that sequence? Outstanding 4 pitches right there. 1, 2, 3. Go the New York Mets. 1-0 Rays.
excited to join Kevin Cash in Tampa Bay. They were teammates together in Boston, and Cash is also excited to have a veteran hitter here. Nava dealt with a little thumb situation and came back. He's still trying to get his timing down, but he said he was looking forward to playing with the Rays and always respected them on the other side of that Red Sox-Rays rivalry, guys.
Yeah, it's good to get that kind of info. You know, the way the Rays and the Red Sox have gone at it through the years, and that just, you know, kind of a payoff here for the Rays to know that there's a guy who played over there and what they thought and the respect they had for this Rays club for the kind of game they put on the field. Strike the count to Nava. And that's on the inside part of the plate. Strike two. Well, the Rays are really hopeful that he can get his timing back after that thumb injury, because he'd be a pretty good hitter to have from the left side, especially. He's out on strikes, and that was quick work from DeGrom there in the mid-90s on that fastball up. The other thing he could give the Rays is some good outfield play. He's a plus outfielder in right field.
Well, you're looking at this point for anybody that you think, you know, can help you. The Rays obviously still feel strongly that they're right in the middle of this the playoff race, as are a lot of other teams. So, you know, someone's going to have to separate themselves from the pack. And so you're looking for a little bit of offense, some help on defense. You know, weren't able to get really anything done at the trading deadline. So you look for those waiver type deals and pickups like Nava.
Here's Kiermaier lining it down to Duda. And that's out number two.
I like the way you said that. I wanted to start singing.
Ball was hit so hard.
Camptown Racer?
Zippity down to Duda.
Well, we've seen some better swings at that changeup as the game has gone on. Kiermaier there. Boy, you think about that ball getting down in the corner, you think three.
There's Kurt Casale. And there's a breaking ball in. Curve ball in the low 80s. Strike one. Boy, we've seen some nice pitching tonight. DeGrom certainly impressive. Odorizzi has been impressive again tonight. 1-1 to count. Carnes and Syndergaard tomorrow night. A ball, two strikes. The Rays, counting this one, playing 22 of their next 27 games against teams currently over 500.
And for me, I take that as good news, because we've seen this Rays ball club play to the level of their competition.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And so when you face these teams that are leading their division or above 500, the Rays have a tendency to rise to the occasion.
Fastball for strike three call on the pitch on the outside corner. 1-0 Rays.
A look at a 4-pitch clinic put on by Jake Odorizzi against Kelly Johnson. How about that? First pitch curveball, strike one, and then you're going to go fastball, strike two. Now, okay, climb the ladder. Oop, does a nice job of holding off on that. That's okay. I changed his eye levels. I'll go down with the changeup and pick up strike three. That is as masterful as you can do it. Fantastic.
That's one of the fun things about this game. Ball not put into play, but what a great sequence that was.
Pitching.
Yeah.
Pitching 101. Yeah, that actually may be, not an entry-level class. That may be a little bit more advanced, pitching 401. But regardless, that is how you do it.
One of the great things about this game and that sequence right there. There's another strike on the corner, and he's ahead of Wilner Flores, 0-2. Stays alive, fouling that one into the stands. Flores in the ninth spot with some pop in his bat. Takes it too close.
Well, third on the team in home runs, second on the team in runs batted in, and hitting in the 9-hole here tonight.
2-2. Fly ball lifted down the left field line toward the corner. Sizemore's there. He got it. Sizemore to the low wall. Takes the home run away from Flores. Oh, he got over there to the corner just in time. Found that he had room and made the grab.
And he actually is going to make contact with the wall with his right leg before the ball goes into the glove. Maintaining concentration. What an unbelievable play by Grady Sizemore. Hit a home run, take one away.
What a star by that one as he brings this one back. Low wall, he's got room.
Gotta be kidding me. The only reaction you could have if you're Jake Odorizzi. The kick is up, and it is good.
Wow.
Well, see, he's now a +2 tonight. +2.
Yes, he is. Gave the Rays the lead with a home run in the fourth. Takes a home run away here in the sixth. 2 strikes now, the count on Granderson.
I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, off the bat, you're like, that's a home run. You knew it had the distance, and he hit it to the right part of the field. You didn't factor in Grady Sizemore doing what he did.
2-2 here to Granderson now. Off the bat, you knew that the ball wasn't hit particularly well, but had enough to get out, especially with the low wall.
315 down the line.
One more time.
That is fantastic.
You couldn't draw it up any better. It's like going to the corner of the end zone. Tiptoeing along the back line. Just reaching over the low wall.
Odorizzi called it.
Yeah. Anderson, another foul ball out of play. foul ball. The count is full. Anderson has worked this out now to what will be at least a 10-pitch at bat. And he got him. Struck him out. 10 pitches. That's strikeout number 6. Base is empty with 2 gone. Tonight we raise up for Scott Martley at Tampa General Hospital. Scott named the 2013 Wells Star of the Year for his dedication to making his own healthy lifestyle choices and encouraging the other 2,000 members of the Tampa General Hospital's Well program to embrace healthy behavior. We raise up for health. How do you raise up? Daniel Murphy with a base hit here, a 2-out single in the 6th inning.
Number 52, Newman's Cespedes.
3rd hit allowed by Odorizzi. And Cespedes now will be the hitter. Cespedes struck out in the 1st and a fly ball to right in the 4th. Ball, no strikes. Again, 2-0.
You don't want to have Jake Odorizzi get away from what's made him successful all night, and that is making pitches. Last couple, he's tried to hump up a little bit, overthrow, and now you find yourself down in the count to a very dangerous hitter here for the Mets.
He retired 10 in a row before the base hit to Murphy. Cespedes sends a fly ball to right. Nava back to the track, makes the catch. That takes care of New York in the 6th, highlighted on this great catch by Grady Sizemore, robbing Wilner Flores. Doesn't get much better than that. The Rays lead 1-0. In tonight's game and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. John Jaso leads off and takes a pitch down. So far, the difference in this game, the home run hit by Grady Sizemore, who's on deck, and the home run taken away by Grady Sizemore. Curveball at the knees. That's a strike. Sizemore waiting to be next.
Having himself quite the night. And how many times have we seen it? You make that great play and then you're almost going to hit the next inning right away.
Hot shot foul. 1-2.
Too many times to count, Wayne.
Yeah. One of the great synchronicities of the game.
It's like when they put you in for defense, like eventually at some point there's a ball that gets hit to you. We see it all the time.
Pitch away. 2-2. The count is full. DeGrom actually came a little later to pitching than some. He was in Stetson, played shortstop. First couple of years over there, shortstop, and pitched in relief. Closed some games. And then got serious about pitching.
Apparently very.
Yes.
Boy, this is the battle of the hair.
And how. Ground ball into shallow right field with the shift. And DeGrom gets over there to take the throw. So Jaso is the first out, hitting into the shift. And DeGrom getting the put out. And now here's Grady Sizemore. What a night he's had.
Yeah, I mean, he stays back enough on the changeup to get it out of the yard. That gives the Rays a 1-0 lead. And just where it looked like the Mets were going to tie, not so fast.
Highlight presented by H.H. Gregg. In this case, 2 for 1 there. Sizemore takes it away. Fastball, 1 ball, no strikes. Down the left side, slicing, and Conforto's over there to make the catch. Well, it's that low wall, shut it back beyond the bullpen mound. That gave Conforto an opportunity to make a play.
Yeah, and you've got some things to overcome, some obstacles, the mounds, players, low wall, and he does a nice job of maintaining concentration. We've seen visitors struggle with this roof, especially in tight quarters like that, but Conforto, a nice job.
Evan Longoria. Longoria singled in the first. Retired his last time up. And a fly ball caught by Granderson. He puts him down. 0-2 on a breaking ball. DeGrom selected in the 9th round by the Mets. He was the 272nd overall pick in the 2010 draft. 272. High fly ball to right. Again, Granderson under it. The Rays are out of order in the 6th. They lead 1-0. Our game summary featuring Jake Odorizzi. 6 innings of 3-hit baseball, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. Grady Sizemore's given the Rays the only run of the game with a home run, his 4th of the year, coming in the 4th inning, and then preventing a home run when Wilder Flores made a bid in the 6th.
Razor-thin margin of error here tonight. And the Rays have been the beneficiary of the home run, the great play, the fact that Odorizzi hasn't walked anybody.
Lucas Duda sends a fly ball into right or left field, and Sizemore, moving to his right a few steps, makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out in the 7th. 87 pitches for Odorizzi. And Steve Geltz is up in the bullpen. 1 out into the 7th inning. There's Geltz. And Juan Uribe steps in. Strike 1. Uribe grounded out to Cabrera his first time, line to center, caught by Kiermaier in the 4th. Slider, and he held up. It's 2-1. Drive to left, and that one's going to get out of here. No question about that one. Uribe hit that one a long way to tie the game at 1. That's his 11th home run of the year, and the 3rd he has hit now in 10 games with the Mets since they got him.
It was a flat breaking ball, and Uribe likes to pull. He's got pull power, obviously, and this one hung up there just enough. You see, trying to throw that slider again, and that just was not able to get over the top of it. Got on the side of it, same plane, spinning, and Uribe unloaded on it.
Michael Conforto. So a strike to count. So it's 102.8 off the bat on the home run for Uribe. One and one to count. Two and one. Two count. Fordo, some impressive numbers in the lower minor leagues. He was playing in the Eastern League when he was recalled. Double-A ball. Pops it up. It's Loney coming in from first, making the catch. Major League pop up there for the second out.
That was a pitch that was out over the plate by Jake, and fortunate that Conforto just popped it up. 2 outs now. Settle down, get this final out of the inning, and hopefully your offense can come up with something off of DeGrom.
First pitch to the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, we've seen that fastball command a little sloppy here in the 7th inning. Even on the ball that we just talked about to Conforto, the first 2 fastballs here to d'Arnaud have missed. There you go.
He takes a big cut and misses that one. 2-1.
Well, and let him take a big cut. Let him beat you to right center field, right field. Staying away from him thus far. Not a bad strategy late in the game, tie ball game.
Three and one. The right side, long run for Nava, but he cannot get there, and it's out of play anyway. You can see Nava on the way over there taking a peek as to where the mound might be, in case that factored into the play.
That's what makes these foul balls down the left field and right field line in foul territory so difficult, because you've got the low wall, not a ton of foul territory. The mounds come into play.
And ball 4. Odorizzi hoping to get the corner on that fastball. He gives up the walk, and here comes Kevin Cash. It's the first walk given up by Odorizzi.
Now this pitch just off the plate and away. The beneficiary of one earlier in the game, not this time.
That's it for Odorizzi. Insurance and by Checkers. Mix and match our famous Big Buford and Big Chicken Deluxe. Get 2 for $5. Jake Odorizzi departing after 6 2/3. It's a tie game. He leaves with a man on. 102 pitches, 4 hits, and a run. Struck out 6 and walked 1. Kelly Johnson in the box against Steve Geltz, the new Rays pitcher. Fastball is high.
Steve on for the 53rd time, 51 2/3 innings of work, almost a strikeout an inning. Opponents average 178, very good.
And he gets the corner. 1-1. Laid on a fastball. How about this for Steve Geltz, leading the American League in appearances, 53. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Foul again. The Rays bullpen has thrown a major league most 361 2/3 innings. Xavier Cedeno's up in the bullpen. Popper on the left side. And Gloria takes care of that. They get a run on the home run. This game is tied 1-1. Geico was on this day in 1999. Wade Boggs homers off Cleveland lefty Chris Haney in the 6th inning here at the Trop, becoming the 23rd member of the 3,000 hit club and the very first to do it with a home run. Somehow it doesn't seem like that long ago. Right out there in right field, he hit it off the lefty. You see that yellow seat marked where the ball landed. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. There's the spot right there. A strike at the knees. It's 1-1 on James Loney. Eric O'Flaherty's the lefty and Bobby Parnell the right-hander. Oh, long one to right off the bat of Loney. That one is gone. Tremendous blast by Loney, turning a fastball around, and the Rays lead 2-1.
They have been pounding, and by they, I mean the Mets. Jacob deGrom had been pounding James Loney in all game long. And he finally, laying in wait, got a fastball, middle in. Boy, did he turn on that with authority. He'll do that every now and then, but they have not strayed from their approach of keeping that fastball close to him, and he made him pay big time there.
You know, we've talked about how strong he could be, and it's sometimes fun to watch him in batting practice. And boy, did he deliver on that one. He got some distance for sure.
Don't get predictable. You know, they stayed in on him. His last at bat, he was able to inside out one to left field, and then coming in, middle in once again with the heater. He just was waiting for it. Got it started early, and you're right. He's a strong man.
Two strikes the count on Forsythe. Another look.
Trying to come in again, and it didn't quite get there, but it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, they've gone to that well too many times, and it cost them there.
Forsythe fouls it to stay alive.
You know, that's one of those, you know, you start to think late in the game, a guy that's got some power, a guy that we've already made fully aware of the pitch in. Maybe force him to take you into left field. You know, he may be able to hit a single that way, but you stay in on a smart hitter like James Loney and he starts to cheat in, well, that's what happens, and it costs you a run instead of a base run.
And the Rays now lead 2-1. Forsythe is out on strikes for the second time. That one at 96. One out in the inning. Tomorrow's starters presented by Chevron. More good pitching tomorrow in this matchup. It'll be Syndergaard 6-5 against Carnes 6-5. We'll be with you at 5:30 on Sun Sports. There's Jubal Cabrera, strike one. He's been victimized twice tonight, striking out in the second inning and again in the fourth. Cabrera shortens with just one man deep on the left side of the infield. He takes the pitch for a ball. Cabrera coming off a 4-hit game Wednesday in Chicago against the White Sox. He's going to bunt, puts it down, and it rolls foul. It counts 1-2. He's trying to take advantage of that left side. Now he's in the hole.
Well, and if Travis d'Arnaud is able to come up a little quicker, he had a chance to make a play there and make it what would have been easy if he could have gotten to that baseball before it spun back foul.
Foul ball back on the fastball up. Two and two. The dirt, skipping by the New York catcher. The count is full. That home run for Loney, second since coming off the disabled list, his first since the 7th of July when he hit one off Chris Young in Kansas City. popper down the right side, foul, and that's going to be out of play. Both Duda and Johnson went after that one, and Johnson a little slow in getting up after sliding into the low wall.
Both of them trying to make a play. Kelly Johnson realizing it's not going to happen. He goes down to the turf, but you see slides knees first right into that low wall, and he's still feeling the effects.
This one shot foul. Out of play. This turning out to be a lot of pitches in this at bat after DeGrom got ahead of Cabrera. It's now 3-2. And there are 8 pitches into this at bat. And a shot to right field. That's got some carry. Going to be off the wall. Cabrera's going to dig for 2. Better hurry. And he's in there ahead of the throw.
And they had a legitimate chance to get Cabrera. That ball was hit so hard and got to the wall so quickly that if Granderson had put a little bit more on the throw, he could have had him. Absolutely could have had him. This is a rocket shot here. Change up. Nice job of staying back. And here's your throw. Just not enough on it. And Cabrera able to get in.
So the Rays lead 2-1. That's going to be it for DeGrom. Back to the new pitcher. For more information, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com and buy your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Rays have taken a 2-1 lead. A great at bat by Asdrubal Cabrera to come up with that double. That's it for DeGrom. Eric O'Flaherty, the lefty, in the game. Navadu, he'll be lifted, and Brandon Guyer will hit in his place. He takes a pitch too low. O'Flaherty made his New York Mets debut 2 days ago against Miami and gave up 4 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Those numbers, his combined numbers with Oakland and the Mets. And he hits Guyer.
And that was a Guyer special. Come in, that front leg, the stride leg goes down, kind of flexes that quad, and just takes one for the team. I'll tell you what, he has this move down. Watch him get that front leg down and just say, okay, you want to hit me? A little bit of a lean, let it graze, take your base.
Two men on. Kevin Kiermaier will bat. "16 times Geyer's been hit by a pitch this season."
It's technique.
That ball, that slider running away. Look at that. Geyer with 16 topping the American League.
Running away with it at this point.
Two and 0. Geyer now has been hit by a pitch in 3 consecutive games in which he has made a plate appearance. And Kiermaier takes ball 3.
Well, when we looked at O'Flaherty's numbers, 22 innings, 13 walks. This has been something that has plagued him. And here, lefty on lefty, and he's missed badly 3 straight pitches.
And he gets a strike. That was after 5 consecutive pitches out of the zone. 3-1. It's popped up on the left side. The infield pop. Flores takes care of it. 2 gone, and Kurt Casale's due. Terry Collins heads to the mound to make a change. Rays Day brought to you by Ram. Submit the best vintage photo of yourself using the hashtag #FlashbackRays. We'll select the best photo, feature it in the postgame show. Bobby Parnell, the new pitcher. DeGrom started the inning. He worked 6 1/3 tonight. Flaherty gets a third. Now Parnell inherits 2 base runners on for the 19th time.
Now this is a big spot here for Kurt Casale, because certainly the Rays would like to extend that lead. Now just a razor thin 1-run lead. That runner out at second base, tantalizing.
Pitch Drops a breaking ball in there for a strike. Cornell heavy on the fastball. Fastball change and has not used the curveball throughout his career with great frequency, but he dropped one over there for a strike. It's 1-1.
Breaking from the script. A couple of breaking balls here to start this at bat out. Well, you're looking at 1 out you need to get. So however you need to do that, however creative you need to be.
And he's got a guy up there who likes the fastball. So we've seen a steady diet of breaking stuff here.
Well, and you know what? Now he's gotten himself into a fastball count. Does he come back with that breaking ball again? Or do you give in and give Casale the heater, who is probably chomping at the bit to swing at one of those right now?
Well, you'd think you'd bet on the heater here because you've got nobody in the bullpen. Jaso's left-handed bat on deck. So let's see. And he misses with it. He did come fastball, and it's healthy at 97, but low.
Sometimes when you break from what you do best, it doesn't work out well for you. You know, first curveball strike 1, and then he missed with 2. Now misses with the fastball. Now he's in a real spot.
And he walks him.
Wow.
So the bases will be loaded. They'll be loaded for the left-handed bat of John Jaso.
Well, now you've got 0 margin for error.
Jaso looking for his first hit tonight, and he fouls the fastball back for a strike. Cabrera at third, Dyer at second, Casale's the runner at first. Jaso lifts a fly ball into left. Caught out there by Conforto as it drifted to the track. Rays will leave him loaded, but they get the go-ahead run on the home run by James Loney, turning around a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, and it's 2-1 Rays. Tonight's game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Storage. You saw a good bit of it right there. 2-6-0 for the Rays, 1-4-0 for the Mets. Sizemore and Loney accounting for the runs for the Rays tonight. Odorizzi 6 2/3, Geltz a third. Now it's Jake McGee. Wilmer Flores leads off, and the first pitch is a fastball, strike one.
39 punch-outs, 28 2/3 innings for Jake.
1-1.
Wilmer Flores. See Brandon Guyer out there in right field now. Was robbed in his last at-bat by Grady Sizemore in left.
Takes a count to 1-2. He worked an inning Wednesday in Chicago. He was in 2 of those 3 games. Fly ball center field. That's Kiermaier. 1 away. Go to the top of the order now for New York, Curtis Granderson. Granderson is grounded out, flied out, and struck out. It's upstairs. Pitchers of record in this game right now would be Steve Geltz and Jacob deGrom. Ground ball right side, right to Forsythe. 2 gone. Base is empty. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live. The pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We'll be with you at 5:30. And Nathan Carnes will be on the mound. We'll hear from him. And Doug Wechter will break down the slugging first baseman Lucas Duda of the New York Mets. Murphy takes the pitch up. Murphy singled in the 6th. That was against Odorizzi. It's foul out of play. 1-1.
And Terry Collins, he's got 4 right-handed hitters sitting on his bench, but these guys coming up here against Jake McGee does not want to remove Granderson, does not want to remove his DH Murphy. That's obviously a clear advantage to Jake McGee, although he's tough on righties and lefties. I mean, he just comes at you with that fastball, high octane.
And Murphy takes a strike. It's now 1-2.
The way he's able to bore that pitch away from the lefties really forces you. If you try to pull it, you do what Curtis Granderson just did. You roll over it to second base. You try to shoot it into left field. A lot of times the velocity is just a lazy fly ball.
High fly ball to right this time. Guyer's going to go to the wall. He leaps and it's out of here. On a 1-2 pitch, Murphy takes McGee deep, and the game is tied at 2.
Now wait till you take a look at the location. Jake McGee trying to go away, and watch where the pitch ends up. This is what you can't do. You see Casale reaching back across the plate, middle in and up.
It's the 8th home run of the year for Murphy, and his first against a left-hander. Now Now Cespedes takes the pitch up. A 1-2 pitch with 2 outs in the 8th. Big cut and a miss. 1-1. The Mets did have double barrel action. Now it's only Tyler Clippard up. Another cut and a miss by Cespedes at 96.
Trying to go down and away, up and in. That's the location, and Jake McGee hoping for the best right here. Not real happy.
Foul ball back. Well, home runs accounting for all the scoring in this game. Grady Sizemore hit one for the Rays in the 4th. Juan Uribe hit one for the Mets in the 7th. James Loney opened the bottom of the 7th with a home run, and with 2 outs in the 8th and a 1-2 count, David Murphy has homered off Jake McGee. The 1-2 to Cespedes. Fouled into the screen. So now the pitchers of record become strictly the bullpen. DeGrom off the hook. And that is strike 3 call. A 1-2 curveball. The Mets get the home run from Murphy, and they tie the game as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Timeless moment brought to you by Coors Banquet. Grady Sizemore belting a changeup out of here to right in the 4th inning. Gave the Rays the lead. He also made this great catch, reaching over the wall. What a grab that was to deny Wilmer Flores of a potential home run in the 6th inning. And now it will be Grady Sizemore to face Tyler Clippard. Clippard out of Mitchell High and Newport Richie. The Pitch hit on the ground by Sizemore. Johnson makes the play. One pitch, one out. You saw Clippard when he was with Oakland in their series here. Now we see him again as a member of the New York Mets.
43rd appearance. See what he's done in the save department. Almost a strikeout an inning. Opponent's average jumps out there at 185.
Here's Evan Longoria. Pitch is a strike. Evans singled in the first inning. He is 1 for 3 tonight. Tracks it low. 1-1. The designated hitter, Daniel Murphy, has tied the game with a home run in the top half of the 8th inning. Rays bat in the bottom. There's a shot to center field. Will it get enough carry? The ball is gone! Home run for Longoria. And the Rays lead 3-2. Evans' 13th home run of the year. It's a home run derby tonight, folks.
One after the other. None bigger than that one right there so far. Evan Longoria, who's shown a much more aggressive approach and swing recently. It's led to more extra base hits. And here, the best of them all, the four-bagger.
And that got the Longoria carry that we've been missing. When he's hot, that's what happens.
Well, he's swinging the bat now with authority. There's no feeling for the baseball. He is letting it rip, and pitches that are mistakes, he's hammering right now.
First pitch to Loney, and that's a strike. All the scoring tonight as a result of solo home runs. Two now on Loney.
Well, this is a fastball. You see the grip. Look where it's at. Elevated out over. It allows Evan full extension, and that's where you're going to get that carry. And he needed every bit of it. Right off the top of the wall.
Got shot down to first. Handled by Duda. Two gone. Take another look at this one. Center field. Will it clear? Yes, but not by much. Just enough carry.
Oh, man. That is cutting it close. Listen, that's been the margin for error all night.
Sure has.
Razor thin.
Now Logan Forsythe. And it's a strike. Forsythe looking for his first hit tonight. Oh, 2. Into the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So now Brad Boxberger's up in the Rays bullpen. Jake McGee worked the 8th. The Mets have Lucas Duda to lead off the 9th. Pitch is high. Now it's 2-2. So Odorizzi had a lead. Geltz came in. Rays got him the lead. And Forsythe is out on strikes. The Rays are finished in the 8th. And as we go to the 9th inning, this home run by Evan Longoria has given the Rays the lead again. Through 8, 3-2, Tampa Bay. Presented by Checkers. Todd Callis and Doug Wechter will be anchoring the coverage. We'll hear from Kevin Cash at the manager's press conference, and Rich Hollenberg will have interviews from the Rays clubhouse. And what is a one-run game, courtesy of the home run off the bat of Evan Longoria. And Brad Boxberger will open the 9th with the middle part of the order. Duda, Uribe, and Conforto due up for New York.
Brad Boxberger on for the 49th time, 27 saves. Well more than a strikeout per inning. Chance to lock this one down here for the Rays.
And he'll face Duda, the left-handed hitter. Some thought about maybe McGee staying in, but here's the story on Duda. He's hitting .304 against left-handed pitching with 5 home runs this year, and credits Keith Hernandez with helping him become a very good hitter against lefties. And against the right-hander, a little nubber picked up by Boxberger, and a wild throw backed up by Forsythe. Well, a changeup and a little nubber, and with that, Duda is on to start the 9th.
Yeah, that was a perfectly placed swinging bunt by Duda, and Brad Boxberger, he's going to try to make up with it with an overthrow right there, and he just airmails this right into the baseline, and James Loney's not able to get over and make that play. And yeah, you credit Logan Forsythe for backing that play up, and he kept Duda from going to second base.
Well, they've given Duda a hit, but a good throw gets him. Now here's Uribe. The pitch down, and gets away. That deflected off Casale, rolling up the third base line, and Duda winds up at second base.
Well, another errant throw by Brad Boxberger. This one right into the dirt, and it's going to ricochet off Casale. And now a meeting on the mound, going to try to figure out what to do here. Just a fastball yanked down and away. Boy, caught Kurt Casale right on the inside of that right knee, and that meeting may have more to do with Kurt Casale getting some feeling back in that leg than anything else.
Well, they've changed the ruling on Duda. And that's going to be an error charged to Boxberger. And now the wild pitch moves the runner up to second. The count is 1-0 to Uribe. Pops it foul, out of play. 1-1. Well, you know what they often say about guys out of the bullpen. They're not effective until they're in some kind of peril. Well, here we are.
Right.
The inning started clean, but a couple of pitches took care of that. Blocked by Casale. 2-1. Popped up right side. Loney into foul territory. He's got it. One away here in the ninth.
Juan Uribe, how about that? He was just completely overmatched there on a 2-1 fastball. That ball ate him alive. You get soft contact, a short little pop out. That's a huge out for Brad Boxberger. Not a productive out for the Mets. You don't move Duda to third.
Michael Conforto struck out, flied out, popped out. Takes the pitch down. Right now, McGee and Clippard, the pitchers of record. There's a strike. 1-1. Two balls and a strike. Boxberger coming off the Wednesday loss in 10 innings to the White Sox, 6-5. When the winning run was walked home. There's a fastball for a strike. It's 2-2.
Well, Conforto has yet to offer at any of these deliveries. Two changeups followed up by two fastballs. Now we've got a 2-2 count, and everything's still in play.
Ball back, taking a cut at the fastball. Three-two ball game, top of the ninth. The catcher, Travis d'Arnaud, is on deck. Into left center field. That's going to be a base hit. Here comes the run in to score. Into second goes Conforto, and the game is tied 3-3.
And despite the efforts of Kevin Kiermaier, Conforto able to get to second base. This ball off the bat, no doubt about it. It's going to get down. It's going to be a hit. Ball off the plate. Great plate coverage by Conforto. But Kiermaier, watch his hustle in center to try to cut this off and keep it a single. Great job, but Conforto, who is running well out of the box, is able to sneak in, and the Mets tie it and have a runner still out in scoring position.
So it's a 3-3 ball game. The young outfielder drives home the tying run. D'Arnaud takes a changeup for a strike. Outside. Now it's 1-1. Ground ball, that's going to go through. No, it's not. Wow. Boy, Forsythe kept that ball from going through, and that saved a run. Conforto had to stop at third. Boy, that's some hustle. And the diving stop by Forsythe, who was pulled up the middle. You can see him right there.
Boy, going the other way. D'Arnaud making a bid. What an all-out tremendous play. Doesn't retire anybody, but he saves the Mets taking the lead. Great job by Logan Forsythe selling out to keep that ball in the infield, or just out of the infield, but not into the outfield, where that would have been a sure run for the Mets.
First and third with one out in the tie game. Kelly Johnson takes a pitch inside.
Well, this is where you start to think the fastball changeup combo of Brad Boxberger in this situation, a ground ball double play. This is what he was hoping for in that last outing against Melky Cabrera. Well, now he has that same thing here against Johnson.
And a roller. That ball is just foul. How about that? Are you kidding me? Cued down the third base line and just fouled by the bag.
Uncle. I mean, that was a swinging cue shot, you're right, and just spun foul outside of the bag there, because that would not have been an opportunity for the Rays to turn a double play. Too much English.
Alex Colomé up in the bullpen. One ball, two strikes. It's Flores on deck.
Oh,
close. Oh my.
Yeah, no, you know what? That's strike three right there. That is a great pitch by Brad Boxberger. I don't even think there's a question about it. A fastball down and in. That's right there, man.
Oh. Wow. Line drive right to Cabrera. That's the second out. Two gone, men still at first and third. Johnson shaking his head. The prior call had the Rays shaking their collective heads.
Boy, that was a bullet. Nothing's coming easy here in the ninth.
Wilder Flores. A strike at the knees. Wilmer Flores and a single in the third. Robbed of a home run in the sixth by Grady Sizemore. And then hit the fly ball to center in the eighth, batting again in the ninth. Fly ball into short right. Geyer coming on. Can't get there, base hit. Conforto scores. Runner goes to third on the base hit into right by Flores. And it's 4-3 New York. Flores reaching out and dropped it just in front of Geyer.
Second on the team in runs batted in. He's been productive. You don't usually see that kind of production at the bottom of the order. Ball's off the plate. He just puts it into play. Brandon Geyer, all he could do to get there, comes up a foot short.
So Boxberger will depart here in the ninth inning. Well, it's been a nightmare of an inning. A lot of strange things, and it's 4-3 New York. throwing error by Brad Boxberger, and ultimately that has led to his undoing. And he departs here with men at first and third. Travis d'Arnaud is at third. Wilmer Flores at first. 2 outs and 2 runs have scored.
And Alex Colomé comes on now for the 22nd time. And let me tell you this, Curtis Granderson is going to be laying in wait for a heater. So you're going to come out with a first pitch fastball. Nothing wrong with that. Make sure that you locate, because he will look to come unglued here in this situation.
And he takes the strike. That was a fastball.
In a pretty good spot, too. Granderson looking for something to drive. Probably not going to be able to do a whole lot with that pitch, and now Colomé gets the jump.
Cut and a miss. That's pretty good right there.
Well, you know what? That's smart pitching. Fastball in a good area, strike one, and then immediately off speed. And now you get the swing. 0-2.
This game has been back and forth all night. Rays carried a 3-2 lead into the ninth, and now it's 4-3 New York. Cut and a miss. So he strikes out Granderson. That ends the top of the ninth, but New York scores 2. Michael Conforto got a run home on what turned out to be a double, and then Wilmer Flores, a single dropping in front of Geyer to make it 4-3. New York scoring 2 unearned runs, as it turns out, in the top of the ninth, and boy, are they big ones. So the Rays come in for their final shot. They'll face Juris Familia, making his 51st appearance.
Well, you can see he's been gotten to before. 29 out of 34 in saves, but the ERA 2.05. Opponent's average 2.04. Won't be easy, but it's been done. And so the Rays going to get to work.
Juan Lagares in center field. He takes over there for Cespedes, who moves to left. Juris Familia on the hill. The face is Drupal Cabrera. First pitch is too low.
could see big-time velocity. Nothing new on this Mets staff. 96 out of the gate.
Two and 0. So the Rays down by 1. Cabrera had an excellent at bat in the 7th inning and doubled. Ahead here, 2 and 0. And a liner, going to be a base hit into center, serving it in there. And the Rays put the leadoff man aboard in the bottom half of the 9th. Now Juan Lagares into the game in center field made the pickup on that, and he is an outstanding center fielder.
Good. He could just field these balls that drop in front of him and do a great job of it.
I mean, you talk about great center fielders like what Kiermaier's done. These two guys, Lagares and Kiermaier, outstanding.
Well, and precisely the reason why Terry Collins, with the game on the line, is going to mess with that outfield setup.
Brandon Guyer, ground ball down to third, out at second and out at first. And that ball, a fair ball to call.
Yeah,
and here's.
No, Dwayne, I'm with you. You see, we both see Kevin Cash come flying out of the dugout, and I thought for sure he was going to call that ball foul. It certainly looked that way from up here. Obviously, we don't have the same look.
Well, they'll get together to talk it over. It's not a reviewable situation. And I think they're going to call it foul. And that's not going to please Terry Collins.
Not after you let the play go without calling anything. And then, yeah, he's not very happy either. Well, I think ultimately getting together, I think they got it right, because it certainly looked like a foul ball from up here. And you see Uribe. Yeah, that ball's going to end up foul.
So it's absolutely a foul ball. Todd Tishner down at third. He couldn't see through Uribe. But there was no call by anyone.
No.
And the other side of that was that ball off his foot. Maybe not.
Yeah,
but
close. Very close.
One strike to count. That's a strike at the knees.
And if it was, you got to start limping.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to put on a big production there.
He's so used to getting hit by pitches that it just doesn't even phase him.
But it's a great thing. The umpires did get together because the idea is to get it right, and they did. Cabrera's at first.
Well, he will sneak in a slider every now and then. Of course, it's tough to go away from that fastball. 96, 97 with good sinking action to it. You're going to be wary of the breaking ball.
Little tapper. This one is a fair ball, we think, or foul? Nope. That's going to be a foul ball, or is it?
Nobody knows. I guess it's a foul ball.
We're thinking it's a foul ball.
Brandon Guyer thinks it's a foul ball.
And Terry Collins says, I'm confused.
Yeah.
He comes out.
Again, and you see right there, Tim Timmons is right out there looking right up the line as this ball hops foul, and he's the one that made the call.
And he did call it.
He did, and you know what? He was putting himself in position as soon as contact was made by Brandon Guyer, and he got the call right.
Did you see Timmons shake his head? That was great. What a great moment. As he was walking away, Collins turned around to end the conversation. You see Timmons' vantage point right here.
Pushing Darno out of the way so he can make the call right up the line.
Oh, to the count. Again, the runner at first, Cabrera, opened with the line single into center. And Guyer now with a 1-2 count. And a ground ball this time, third, out at second, and safe at first. So Guyer reaches on a fielder's choice. Uribe making this play down at second.
Ball wasn't hit hard enough, and Brandon Guyer runs too well to ever turn that. Boy, is Drupal Cabrera going in aggressively, and a little grimace there at the end. You hope he's all right.
Yeah, he was a little ginger getting up. Now Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier fouls it the other way. Kevin had a base hit in the third. One to count.
You know what? The way that the Mets lineup is on the infield, and you think about the sinker of Familia moving away from Kiermaier, boy, he's got a chance to shoot one right here. Shoot that hole. If they're going to stay away from you like that, just go ahead and pop that thing right between short and third.
Ground ball headed toward the middle, and safe at second, out at first. Flores bobbled that one behind the bag. And long enough to give Guyer a chance to be safe, and they still got Kiermaier.
Yeah, and they did get Kiermaier. They're going to take a look at it here. But this ball away goes up the middle, and Flores is thinking ending double play. And he just could not get it. Gets rid of the ball, and it is there in time. You see the Rays dugout, everybody calling safe. But just in time.
Well, you talk about a game being razor thin.
I mean, it's all night long.
All night, yes.
I got sweaty palms. It's not cool.
Guyer at second base, 2 gone. Here's Kurt Casale. One 1-0. Sally taking the slider. Two 2-0. Couple sliders here against Casale, and he's missed with them, although that one looked to be pretty good.
Well, Casale, selling out for the fastball. That's when he got on his home run streak. How about a walk-off right here?
Low with it. It's 3-0.
Well, I tell you, and you would love to get Jaso to the at-bat right now. Love
Without
it.
question.
Ooh.
And he gets the strike with the fastball. 3-1. Now we'll go all the way to 3-2. He missed the fastball at 97.
That's the late movement. Watch this just dart underneath the swing. That's nasty.
Yeah, that's impossible to hit. (3-2), 2 outs. Geyer at second, 1-run game. And it's all over. Fastball at 98. Casale strikes out. And the Mets, with 2 in the ninth, 2 unearned runs, win this one 4-3. Tough one to take for the Rays as it went back and forth. And the top of the ninth, 2 unearned runs allowed the Mets to tie it and take the lead. And they hold on with the potential tying run at second base in the bottom of the ninth. This game ends in a 4-3 New York victory. 4-8-0 with 6 left for New York. 3-8-1, 6 left for the Rays. Here's the last pitch of the game.
Same movement, same pitch, same result. Familia, you got to credit him. Down 3-0, and he's able to come back and pick up the strikeout that would end it.
So Clippard gets the win. Boxberger the loss. The save. The 30th of the year for Familia. Took 3 hours to play it. And the Mets win it 4-3. We'll be with you tomorrow at 5:30 on Sun Sports with Game 2 of this series. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast, if not the outcome. For Brian Anderson and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats. Rays Live, the postgame, presented by Checkers, is next.